Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. Crypto OG says, put XRP to 4-digit predictions in your pipe and smoke it. Right now, what is happening is, ever since Jake Claver's prediction for $100 XRP by the end of December didn't happen, people are starting to go in the opposite direction now. They're saying there's a good chance that XRP gets to $10, but forget about a 3-digit XRP. But what I've noticed is a lot of prominent people are making those type of predictions now. It's not just these type of predictions right here. Rumor mill, rumors circulating that BlackRock will buy the remaining XRP supply, sending XRP to $10,467 per token. You see these all day long. The ones you don't see are these right here. XRP, it is happening. Patrick Bet-David was talking about the potential of XRP reaching $1,000 per token. Now, he was talking about Ripple capturing a lot of Swift's business, possibly all of Swift's business, fully replacing Swift at some point. Now, if that was going to happen, a lot of people would agree it's most likely going to happen by 2030. I still think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen by 2028. But you don't see people like this make these type of predictions for no reason. Then there's the Easy A founders. Dom Kwok predicts XRP to reach $1,000 by 2030 in an interview at the New York Stock Exchange. He said this on the mainstream media news. Here's a reminder. Take a listen.
So for us, we're really bullish on Ripple, on XRP in particular, because of the inroads they've already made into the TradFi sector. They've been, really sort of diligent about getting tons of different licenses all across the world to actually make sure that they are positioned to own the space when the institutions actually come into blockchain, into crypto, which they're already starting to do with stablecoins. That's obviously a huge use case, and Ripple has their own RLUSD stablecoin, which is awesome, and we've already started educating our community on them. And ultimately for us, we're just super bullish on the mission, what they're doing already in terms of bringing all these big institutions. Hidden Road acquisition, for example, is a great example of how they're going to actually be utilizing the XRP ledger in the real world, settling trades, etc., much faster, cheaper than otherwise would be possible. And then obviously also international money payments. All of those different aspects really make it one of the formative companies of the next decade, in our opinion. And I know a lot of people have been asking for my price targets on XRP, and I think this is the first time I'll say it, but I think XRP is heading to $1,000 by 2030.
And take notice, they're also citing all the Ripple rails, plus the licenses that Ripple currently has. So they see Ripple capturing a lot of Swift's business as well, and the institutional adoption. Then there's this, and everybody's talking about this right now. That's Brandon Biggs. Look at his prediction right here for what's going on in Venezuela.
And I saw Venezuela again. I saw battleships all around Venezuela. And the Lord said, this is more than drug trafficking. He's trying to cause a front, to cause a pause in the BRICS system. So the BRICS, like I told you, was reaching out to Venezuela, to Cuba, to North Korea, to these other nations to build a strong BRICS, giving them an olive branch of peace, of saying, listen, you join up with us and we'll give you financial liberty out from underneath the United States sanctions. You join oil with us, you do business with us, and we'll give you a head seat at the BRICS table. So Trump knew this, and he was saying, no, we're going to put these battleships there, we're going to cause confusion, we're not going to let that happen, right? Taking down this guy, trying to cause confusion in Venezuela, trying to do this. But it was a front trying to stop it to keep the safe face of the dollar for this season.
And take notice, he made that prediction on September 2nd, 2025. Remember, he's the same guy that predicted this right here.
He said, "You've asked me and asked me and asked me about investments. And he said, I'm going to tell you something that will increase like Apple one day. That will be a major investment in the end times." And he said, XRP will go from where it's at right now to $10,000 one day.
So he is saying XRP is going to go to $10,000 someday. Now, we didn't get to $10,000 yet per XRP, but so far his predictions are pretty spot on. And a lot of people say he's a prophet. Other people say he has insider information. So is Brandon Biggs a prophet or is he an insider? You decide. And then there's these predictions as well. The XRP price has already been set by the IMF. This comes from Black Swan Capitalist.
When we talk about the price of XRP, we have to look at the debt. And central banks have an incentive to dissolve that debt right now. And they found a solution, which is blockchain. They actually are going to, in my opinion, based on the research, and also I can confirm this, that the International Monetary Fund has already agreed on a price before all this integration started to happen. So this was a few years ago. They agreed upon a price, and I got a lot of information from Linda P. Jones has a friend who worked at the Central Bank of Australia, and she said that they agreed upon a price, and it's in the thousands.
So there you go. The price for XRP was agreed upon, and it's in the thousands. So we get the daily predictions all over X, just normal retail investors throwing these predictions out there all day long. Then we got some people who claim to have insiders who are telling them that the price is already set. We have a prophet telling us that XRP is going to 10K. Patrick Bet David is saying that XRP could go to $1,000 by Ripple stealing a lot of business from Swift. Then you got Paul Barron also analyzing this now. So why is this all happening right now? I think what it is this. I think a lot of people are starting to see the pieces of the puzzle get put in place right now. Everything that's happening for Ripple, happening for XRP, it's happening in such a short time frame, and it's way too hard to ignore that it's actually happening. You know, back in, say, 2022, 2023, I watched Ripple's expansion outside of the United States, and it was a massive rail system that Ripple was building. And I said, one day, XRP is going to go live on all these rails, and the price is going to absolutely skyrocket when that happens. But the US was still lagging behind. The crypto crackdown was happening at that same time, and we were still waiting to get cleared from the Ripple versus SEC case. Now, that case is done with. XRP is never going to be a security ever again. And now you're starting to see what's happening in the United States. We're waiting on the Clarity Act. We all know that's coming. Institutions are lining up one after another to get exposure through ETFs. That alone is going to start to lead to scarcity. But you also have companies creating those treasuries. Don't forget about that. Retail, for the very first time, is getting the ability to earn yield from their XRP holdings. And when the institutions get here, when you get that institutional adoption, they're going to open up risk-free ways for us to get passive income without any risk involved. So there goes even more XRP getting locked away at the same time. The banks are still in the testing phase on the private ledger. That eventually will come to an end as well. But then you look outside the United States. Japan is really pushing ahead with innovation. And Ripple, they're just going to capture all of Japan's banking system. Ripple is also capturing the EU at the same time. South Korea is really starting to amp things up, and I still think Ripple is going to be a key player within BRICS as well. So when people make a prediction that XRP is going to reach these price points, how can you not see XRP reaching those price points? If it's going to be utilized, and then there's tokenization, and that's set to amp up all throughout 2026 also. How do you move all this value with the cheap XRP? You just don't, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't work unless XRP has a higher value, much higher value. Let's focus on a $10 XRP. And I agree with that. Let's focus on XRP reaching $10 first. You know, people always said XRP is never going to 2 digits. I think once it makes it to 2 digits, people will be then calling for 3 digits for XRP, because then people could see a 3-digit XRP. And of course, when it crosses 3 digits, people will then see it going to 4 digits and so on. But the problem I see here is, if it's going to happen, if the price is set, it's going to happen like a flip of the switch moment. All of a sudden, you wake up one day, XRP is sitting in the thousands. And that's what everybody always thought in the XRP community. That's why the flip of the switch moment was talked about for years. And now you could see the flip of the switch coming, because the new financial system is not that far away. It's building out right now in real time. Everything's pushing to digital. Laws are getting put in place. Banks can now handle crypto. They could handle digital assets. Then you're going to get regulations, green lighting, all the institutions. It's already happening. Analysts to XRP holders, there will come a time when you don't know how much money you have. So what he's saying is this: XRP is going to continue to expand, and its utility is going to expand at the same time. That you're not even going to understand how much money you actually have. I always said in the future, they're going to price things in XRP. Like if you want to buy a car, maybe it costs you 10 XRP. A house, maybe 100 XRP, and so on. I think we will eventually get to that point. Most of retail will already be out of XRP before that even happens. And I think if it's going to happen, I think it's going to lead up to 2030. You know, when you say 2030, right away people think, oh, I have to hold my XRP until 2030 if I want to get rich. No, because all throughout 2026, you're going to have value onboarding to the XRP ledger. Expansion is still going to happen. Ripple is going to make more acquisitions. Value is going to start to show up in the price of XRP. 2027, the same thing's going to happen. More tokenization is going to continue. Trillions upon trillions of dollars in real-world assets are going to be onboarding to the XRP ledger, pushing the price higher and higher. And what I'm telling you is, you don't sell now and come back in 2030. You continue to hold now so you can continue to get rich along the way. Borrowing against your XRP so you don't have to sell is probably one of the dumbest things you can do. You're taking on liquidation risk, forced selling risk, interest rate risk, counterparty risk. That's not strategy. That's hopium with leverage. And I would agree with that. But now we're getting regulations. Institutions are going to open up so many ways that you could borrow against your XRP without any risk. And you're also going to be able to earn passive income without any risk. But we're not at that point yet. Once the regulations come, everything is going to change. People don't realize that yet. People still think it's the wild, wild west days in crypto, and that's going to last forever. That's about to end very soon. All it takes is these politicians to finally get together and get something done. But I don't ever want to sell my crypto because it's something that continues to go up in value. You have all these other people that are in such a damn hurry to sell into worthless US dollars. The US dollar is going to continue to lose value. You either cash out and put that money to work for you, or you're going to blow through that money and end up back here chasing the next big thing. Well, once regulations come and 99% of crypto gets wiped away, how many options are you going to have if you do that? In other words, you're not going to be buying XRP at these prices we're seeing today. You're going to be paying double digits for XRP. Same thing with a lot of these other utility-driven cryptocurrencies. Because if Black Swan Capitalist is right and the price is set for XRP, guess what? The price is most likely set for XLM as well. Most likely XDC, most likely QNT. I'm sure all these prices were set a long time ago. You know, they're building infrastructure. The fourth industrial revolution is already happening. You think they don't know the price, what the price has to be at for it to be functional in moving the world's money? Of course they do. I think that's why I think Black Swan Capitalist is right. I don't know if what he said is right or not, but it goes down the path of you're not going to move a lot of money with a cheap XRP. And until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.